Hello, I'm Georgia,
And I'm Ellen.
and we are the ones that roll.
Welcome to our podcast where we discuss disability and more.
When we're not eating popcorn and watching High School Musical, because we don't do that
Much.
So today we are talking about disability and school.
Because we met at school.
We did meet at school.
Year 8 assembly.
What started our friendship through school was actually the not wanting to be friends.
Yeah.
Because we've both had
We
experiences...
both hated each other.
Well, we didn't hate each other. We hated the idea that we had to like each other. Because, I don't know about you, but before we met I also had the same experience. But I found that schools grouped all disabled people together, even if they were like different disabilities.
Yeah.
And kind of made you be friends because, oh, you're both disabled, so you can get on, you both suffer in life, so you can have that in common
Yeah.
and make good friends. So they were kind of grouping us together to be friends, and that kind of both made us not want to be friends, didn't it?
It's like kind of walking into assembly on your first day, and I kind of knew, because we were sat next to each other, because that's where we had to sit, because that's where we fit. I could kind of feel everybody just like looking at us, be like, oh, they're going to be friends, aren't they?
I mean, us being friends now, I think people don't really look at it as, oh, they're friends because they're disabled, because we did have that. We did have a good solid year where we did avoid being friends. We did establish other groups of friends first.
When would you say it started?
What, our friendship?
Yeah. I reckon it started in PE.
PE was the cause of a lot of funny incidences that made us have that kind of in-joke.
When I think about it now, I can't remember actually at all what happened. I think that was like the pivotal moment in our friendship.
That was the point where it turned from just friends you had at school because you do the same classes to actually, this is someone I'm going to spend lots of time with.
Also Lourdes.
Yeah, when we went on the school
Because
trip to
again,
Lourdes.
because we are both disabled, we had to like kind of, so we skipped all the queues together and we had to wait to get on the plane early together. And there was that kind of half hour when we were both sat on the plane with no one else.
I feel like Lourdes helped, not just because it was that kind of everyone loves everyone, happy clappy environment, but because we had to spend a lot of time together.
Yeah.
Obviously being there together day and night, you kind of got into a routine of being with each other the whole time, and you never missed a moment with each other, and you shared the sad moments. Because we were grouped with everything like lessons, PE, the school trip, although we avoided that as much as possible because it was that judgment, in a way we have to admit that it is the reason that we are friends, because we've had to share those moments and make light of it and have lots of fun with it, and we have. But with it there is the obvious thing that they judge, that, oh, you're all disabled, so because you're all in special needs, you're all in one group, you all have to be friends, and you've all got that one thing in common, which really you don't.
We didn't really talk about it that much, did we?
No.
Even when we first became friends. I don't think you ever told me you had spina bifida.
We've never really talked about disability because people just assume that because you're disabled, it's going to be your one subject.
People are not defined by their disabilities. Like, it's nice to have somebody who I can talk about that kind of thing and I don't have to explain, like, why it's difficult for me to do a certain thing. Because, like, even if you don't fully get it, you'll just be like, oh yeah, I get, like, there are things that I can't do that people kind of don't realise.
Yeah, if you have a disabled-related problem or frustration, going to your able-bodied friend, like, oh, I just find it so frustrating that sometimes I get feelings in my legs that I just want to get up and walk around and I can't, and it's really frustrating.
Yeah.
And I couldn't just go to an able-bodied friend and say that. They wouldn't get it.
No, and they would be supportive. There's no, like, we're not trying to say that our able-bodied friends aren't supportive and aren't, like, really, like, lovely about these things, but it's just kind of not quite the same.
The understanding's not really there, and you need someone to understand, but it doesn't mean that we talk about it all the time. It just means we have that when we need it.
Yeah, and also it's really nice coming to your house and not having to think about, like, whether I'm going to be able to get into your house. I feel like we got the, oh, don't race in the corridor thing a lot, but I don't know if that counts as a judgment.
Judgment can range from grouping all disabled people together because they're disabled, all comes under one thing, which it doesn't, all the way down to just, she's in a wheelchair, so she's going to run me down in the hallway if I don't move out of the way.
Yeah.
That's generally the only bad judgment there is in school, but I feel like a lot of judgment comes under constant comments and things like that from other people.
It wasn't too bad for me, I gotta be honest. I don't think I got any more than, like, the average person does, and none of it was kind of specific about my disability, so I was quite lucky.
Generally, people just targeted me, although it wasn't specifically because I was disabled. I felt like in their mind, I don't know whether this is true, but this is my assumption, that in their mind they thought, she's disabled, so she's going to be gullible and not understand why we're picking on her.
Yeah.
And she's going to be an easy target, basically. They pretended to, like, be overly friendly with me, and all of this sort of stuff to, excuse the term, take the piss.
Yeah.
Schooling's hard in regards to horrible children anyway, because
Yeah, I think
it's a nasty
it's
environment
not
to be in.
disability specific thing.
No, but I do think it can make you stand out as an easier target, whether you are or not. People are going to think she's disabled, she'll be easy.
Yeah.
Along with like comments I've had in regards to school and harassment and hate, I've had comments like, you only get A's because you turn up disabled. And I've had people say that to me, and to be honest, that didn't upset me, it annoyed me, because
It ignores all the effort you've gone to.
yeah, I got A stars in mocks, but when it came to my actual GCSE final results, I didn't come out with any A stars. I got 4 A's, and it just annoys me, because if that was accurate, surely I would have come out with A stars.
Yeah.
If it was just I turned up disabled, so I got
Also,
good
the
marks.
exam boards don't know that you're disabled.
Exactly. I mean, the whole point of the whole numbering system that you have is for that sort of reason, so there's no bias.
Yeah. The one thing that got me in school was one time I was late for a lesson. I say late, I was like a minute late, maybe. The bell had gone, but I could see the classroom door as the bell was going.
Yeah.
And the lift had been, I can't remember if it was broken or if it was just not, I mean, the lifts were quite unreliable at school, weren't they?
Yes.
And I can't remember if it was broken or if it had just kind of taken a while to warm up that morning. But it was to, like, the lift had slowed me down and I got a detention. And I did try and explained the lift wasn't working brilliantly, and the teacher just said, well, should have left earlier then. Don't make excuses. Except it's not really my fault, is it? Because, you know, if I could walk, I would have just gone down the stairs with everybody else when the bell went.
There was that incident where we both had to go down, and in the end, didn't we start like alternating? You go first.
Yeah, we just
you went
took
first last
turns,
time,
didn't we?
because we both ended up in trouble because we both had to use the same lift.
Yeah, and our teachers never really got the message, did they?
No.
Yeah, like every other week we're late, yeah, because somebody else has to use the lift too.
Yeah, I mean, there's also been other problems for me where I've had detentions for being late because I had to see someone in student support.
Yeah.
They wanted to talk to me, and so I was late. And there was another time I got a detention because I was asking the support I had in the lesson for help. The lesson was a silent lesson. It was, we were going to be in silence. And I just reached over to the teacher. She was sitting on the end, and I just whispered to her, like, I think I need to leave the lesson. And he gave me a detention, which meant as soon as I had to leave for an emergency, I had to go straight back to him for a detention.
Explain?
Yeah, but he didn't care. He said it was a silent lesson, and it's things
I would
like
just
that.
like to say most of the teachers were really great.
Yeah, I'm
That's
talking
fine.
about different situations in different schools.
Yeah.
There's a line between trying to make a disabled person as normal in school as possible.
Obviously, like, if they're being blatantly misbehaving,
Yeah.
obviously you don't, like, just let them off because they're disabled. Like, that's not the point. But if they did something which they didn't meet, and if the reason is to do with their disability, don't punish them.
When I trained to teach, admittedly quite a few years ago, there wasn't too much specific training for teaching pupils with disabilities. In recent years, there's become slightly more on offer in schools, but it tends to be very last minute, and it tends to be very focused for a member of staff who happens to be teaching a child with a particular ability. It would be an interesting idea to see teacher training expand its awareness and the capabilities of its students to encompass more training for pupils with disabilities. I think the problem is that there is a wide spectrum of pupils with perceived as having disabilities, ranging from wherever you like, physical disabilities to learning disabilities, and to cover all of those is a very difficult problem. It might be a good idea for student teachers to have a small experience of teaching perhaps 1 or 2 areas just to improve their awareness and to make it an ongoing part of their professional development. What tends to happen in schools is it's usually training at the last minute, usually at short notice, and usually with external help. The external help and advice comes in an hour, half a day, whatever, and then usually leaves. So it may not be effective long term.
Thank you for listening to this episode of our podcast.
Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get notified every time we do an upload, as we have future podcasts lined up.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter at OnesThatRoll and tweet us any thoughts.
Also, you can leave a comment in the comment section down below, giving us any feedback or even any ideas of future things that you want us to discuss. See you next time.